The tray hits the floor with a metallic scream that silences the entire chow hall. Mashed potatoes splatter like wet cement across the tiles, green beans scatter like spent casings, and the milk carton bursts open in a slow-motion white explosion. Every eye in Ironwood Juvenile Correctional turns to the orange jumpsuit still sitting calmly at the table and the shirtless, tattooed giant standing over him with one sneaker planted triumphantly on the bench. The bully's name is Cody Crush Harlan, 18 years old, 230 pounds of prison yard legend, and right now his foot is hovering inches from the face of the smallest, quietest kid anyone has seen in years. Cody grins, all teeth and hate, and says the word everyone has been waiting for him to say since the new fish walked in 3 days ago. The word echoes off the cinder block walls, sharp as a shank. The guards posted at the doors pretend they didn't hear it. They always do when it's Cody. But the boy in orange doesn't flinch. His name is Elijah Moore, 16 years old, barely 5'7", maybe 140 pounds soaking wet. His eyes stay on the ruined food at his feet, dark, unreadable, almost sad. Cody leans in, chest puffed, dragon tattoo rippling across his ribs, and tells Elijah exactly what's going to happen next if he ever sits at the white table again. The threat is graphic, practiced, delivered like a man who's broken more than a few faces and never once paid for it. Behind him, his crew of blue jumpsuited followers laugh on cue. The room waits for Elijah to cry, to beg, to crawl away like every other kid who's been marked. Instead, Elijah lifts his head, meets Cody's eyes for the first time, and speaks so softly that only Cody can hear. "You sure you want to do this here?" The laughter falters. Cody blinks, thrown off rhythm for half a heartbeat. Then the mask slams back down harder than before. He kicks the bench out from under Elijah, sending the smaller boy sprawling into the spilled food, and the hall erupts in cheers for their champion. The guards finally move, barking orders, hauling Cody away before anything official can happen. Elijah stays on the floor longer than he needs to, palms pressed into the cold tile, breathing slow, counting heartbeats the way his grandfather taught him years ago on a blue mat in a cramped garage in South Atlanta. That night, in the top bunk of cell block C, Elijah stares at the underside of the ceiling and remembers everything he promised he'd never bring inside these walls. 3 years earlier, Elijah's grandfather, Master Isaiah Moore, had been one of the most feared and respected Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts in the Southeast. A quiet man who spoke Portuguese when he was angry and quoted Marcus Aurelius when he was proud. He'd taken a scrawny 10-year-old orphan who'd just lost his mother to the streets and turned him into something else entirely. 5 days a week after school, they drilled until the boy's GI was soaked with sweat and his knuckles bled from gripping sleeves that weren't there. "The ground is honest," Master Isaiah would say, cinching an armbar so tight Elijah saw stars. "Up here, people lie with their size, their mouths, their hate. Down there, only physics speaks." By 14, Elijah was tapping out grown men twice his age in local tournaments. By 15, he had a drawer full of gold medals and college coaches already leaving messages. Then came the night he used those hands outside the gym, one punch to protect a younger kid from a gang initiation, one punch that put a 17-year-old in the hospital with a shattered eye socket. The judge called it disproportionate force. The headlines called him the kindergarten killer. The streets just called him finished. So Elijah made a promise the day the cuffs went on. No more mats, no more medals, no more fighting. He would do his time, keep his head down, and walk out the man his grandfather wanted him to be. 3 days inside Ironwood, and that promise already tasted like rust in his mouth. The next morning, the whispers follow him everywhere. Cody has put the word out. The new kid is marked. At breakfast, Elijah's tray is slapped out of his hands before he even sits. At yard, a basketball, accidentally, cracks him across the temple hard enough to drop him to one knee. Cody watches from the weight pile, shirt off as always, smiling like a wolf who's already eaten. The guards see everything and do nothing. Cody's uncle is a captain in the adult system, favors flow downhill. Elijah wipes blood from his lip, picks himself up, and keeps walking. The other kids start to look away when he passes. Nobody wants to be next. But something shifts by the end of the first week. A skinny white kid named Petty, who's in for boosting cars, starts sitting near Elijah in the library. Then a towering Samoan named Tua, doing 18 months for assault, slides onto the bench across from him at dinner. Nobody says it out loud, but they've all seen the same thing. Elijah never cries, never snitches, never begs. And every time Cody's crew jumps him in a blind spot, Elijah somehow walks away with nothing more than bruises. No broken bones, no missing teeth. Just quiet, terrifying competence. Rumors begin. Someone claims they saw Elijah twist out of a three-man hold in the shower line like smoke. Someone else swears he put a skinhead to sleep with two fingers on the kid's neck and nobody even knew it happened until the guy woke up on the floor. Cody hears the rumors too, and they make him angrier than ever. The breaking point comes on a Friday, 2 weeks after the Trey incident. The whole facility is locked down for count, but Cody bribes a tier runner to slip the control booth $20 and a pack of smokes. The magnetic doors pop open just long enough. Cody and 4 of his biggest soldiers march into cell block C during the 1 hour the guards take their break in the Sally Port. No cameras, no witnesses, no rules. They find Elijah alone in the day room, reading a tattered copy of Meditations like it's any other afternoon. Cody kicks the book out of his hands and tells him it's time to learn his place for good. Elijah closes the book slowly and stands. The day room is long and narrow, tables bolted to the floor, maybe 30 feet from one end to the other. The only exit is behind Cody's crew. 5 against 1, the odds Cody has ended careers with. He cracks his knuckles and steps forward, savoring the moment. Elijah looks at each of them in turn, and for the first time since he arrived, his eyes aren't sad anymore. They're ancient. Cody swings first, a haymaker that's dropped corrections officers in the parking lot. Elijah slips inside it like he's done it 10,000 times, catches the wrist, pivots, and the entire room watches 230 pounds of hate fly over Elijah's hip and crash onto a metal table hard enough to bend it. The sound is deafening. Before the shock even registers, Elijah is moving, calm, almost gentle. A trip here, a frame there, an arm dragged across a shoulder. One by one, the toughest kids in Ironwood hit the floor like their strings got cut. No screaming, no wild punches, just quiet, inevitable physics. The last one standing is Cody, on his back, staring up at the ceiling while a 16-year-old who weighs 80 pounds less sits on his chest with an armbar locked so tight the dragon tattoo looks ready to pop off his skin. Elijah leans close enough that only Cody can hear. "I didn't want this," he whispers. "You made me break a promise." Then he lets go, stands up, and walks back to his book. The guards flood in 30 seconds later, too late to see anything but 5 groaning bodies and one small kid in orange helping Petty stack chairs like nothing happened. Cody spends 3 weeks in the infirmary with a separated shoulder and a story nobody believes. The warden launches an investigation, reviews the tapes, finds nothing but static during the exact 9 minutes the fight lasted. Word spreads through Ironwood faster than hepatitis. The quiet kid from Atlanta isn't just tough. He's something else entirely. In the months that follow, everything changes. Kids who used to throw slurs now nod respectfully when Elijah walks past. The race tables in the chow hall slowly disappear. Tua starts calling him Professor. Even the guards start leaving him alone. Elijah begins teaching a small circle of kids in the yard after lockdown, basic breaks, basic guards, basic breathing. No GI, no belts, just survival wrapped in discipline. He tells them the same thing his grandfather told him. The ground doesn't care what color you are, who your daddy is, or what you did to get here. It only cares if you respect it. On the day Elijah's sentence is unexpectedly cut short for good behavior and overwhelming new evidence that the victim, in his original case, had a knife nobody saw, the entire block lines the tier rails to watch him walk out. Cody is there too, shoulder still in a sling, standing quietly at the back. Their eyes meet one last time. Cody gives the smallest nod, almost invisible. Elijah returns it. Outside the gates, Master Isaiah waits in an old pickup truck, older now, grayer, eyes wet. Elijah drops his state-issued plastic bag on the ground and hugs his grandfather so hard the old man laughs through the pain in his back. They don't speak until they're halfway down the highway. "You kept your promise longer than most men could," Master Isaiah finally says. I broke it the moment I had to, Elijah answers. No, the old man says, reaching over to squeeze his shoulder. You kept it the moment you stopped. The truck disappears into the Georgia heat, carrying a boy who walked into hell as a monster in the headlines and walked out something closer to the man he was always meant to become. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the day one spilled lunch tray taught an entire prison what real power looks like when it's wrapped in silence. What about you? Have you ever been counted out, written off, or had someone try to break you just because of how you look or where you're from? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. If this one hit you in the chest, do me a favor, smash that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear that quiet doesn't mean weak, and subscribe for more cinematic stories of redemption, justice, and the kind of strength most people never see coming. Until next time, stay dangerous, in the best possible way.